Now, I've been calling the girl in this book Elena, or, well, not Elena, but Alana, or Alana. I don't know. It is E-L and then Anna. Alana, I guess. That's not right, though. Alana. I've been saying Alana. It's E-L-A-N-N-A, which would be Alana. Alana. Which I think a lot of people would say Alana. But I don't think it is. I've been saying Elena or Alana. Alana. I've been saying Alana. No, I haven't. Dang. Alana. Fine. I've confused myself. Alana. Anyways, I like Alana. She was taken as a child from her family because of political problems. You know, trying to get one king off a throne, trying to get someone else onto a throne, and blah, 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 you know. All that there, political stuff that always goes on. And so they come along and take the kid and say, don't touch our king. I've got your kid. She's like 6. She's young. And so she's raised as a daughter to this king. And the only trouble is, and he's like, he's going to make a good marriage for her. He's strict, but he's done right by her. And yeah, and he wants good for her. She never saw her family again. She was raised by these guys, and that was it. But of course, this king, who is like a dad to her, is all of a sudden mysteriously sick and dying, and they believe it's poison. Now we have problems because she's going to be blamed. When they come and they take the girl, the pistol jabbed into my temple. Stop that, the king commanded. His wig swung against me as he looked at my father. You're lucky, Ruoden. Your pretender king hasn't yet landed on Iran's shore, so I don't have the evidence to condemn you. I could still have you executed without trial. It would be nothing more than you deserve, but I'm going to be merciful. He pressed the gun harder into my skin, the lace on his cuff tickling my cheek. I squirmed against him. I didn't want to die like Nursey, crumpled like my doll on the floor. Get out of this house, the king ordered. Get out of Leon. Go back to Sirid Even and your Caesarian backwater. And if I ever hear you set foot outside its property, I'll have the child eliminated and you will be put on trial. So there's some of the stuff going on. And then it jumps to 14 years later, since King Aton took me hostage. 14 years since I've seen or heard from my parents. Now she has another problem. There's stones. I don't know if it's Stonehenge, but there's stones like Stonehenge close to where she lives. Now, what happens is she goes up to these stones, and I don't know, she cuts herself or whatever. She gets blood on the stone, and a lady appears, like a ghost lady. And it's like I don't know, like a spirit. And the lady's talking. Well, she can't tell anybody. She's not even supposed to go up to the stones. Witchcraft is taboo. There's witch hunters during this time. So Elena anyways, she's all freaked out, right? Because anybody finds out, they're gonna kill her. Anyways, but she goes up to the stones once a year, and she puts a drop of blood on the stone. The stone blooms into a woman, pale as frost, more insubstantial than wind. She moves restlessly, as if she sees me, and yet does not. There's a knife in her hand, a twin to the one I just dropped. I stare at her. at the high lace collar that hugs her neck, at the folds of her clothing sweeping over and around and through the stone. Her gaze lifts above me, uneasy intent. Mo cry, mo tire, mo feel, she says. Her voice cuts through me, fine as ice. Anyway, she keeps saying that, and Elena, I know I keep changing her name, doesn't know what it means. I don't know the language, you horrid thing. This is a lie. I do know the language, but I don't speak it anymore. I've forgotten everything I knew. So something went on there with her family, that her mom and dad, when she was little, were teaching her how to use her magical talents, but of course she was taken away so young, and now she's in a place where magic is taboo, so she can't tell anybody what's going on. Next problem is, when she's at the stones and she sees a lady, a man appears. A real man appears and sees. This isn't good. She's scared out of her mind, and she ends up just running home, right? And she does bump into him again later. And of course she's scared. She's too scared to tell him what happened. He saw what happened, but she's scared out of her mind now that whoever this man is, that he's gonna tell somebody on her. All my life I've had to hide what happens when I touch anything that comes from the earth. Plants, stones, trees, soil, orchids. No one here in Leon knows. Even, I don't know how you say his name, Gurin, simply says I have a green thumb. In Karis, though, my parents knew what I am. I remember that much. Again, nothing. Okay, I can do it. I am a botanist, not a sorcerer. Botanists have a place in this world, a respectable place. So she's studying botany, and this is the problem when the king is poisoned and is dying, because she was studying mushrooms, and as we know, some mushrooms are poisonous. Yeah. The man that she studies botany with is that Gurin, and he's missing, but she does find out he's in jail. So her nursemaid tells her she better run, because she's going to get blamed. This is the next problem. I pause inside to let she goes to see the king who's dying, because of course he's been the only family she's ever had. At first glance, okay, the room looks deserted, the crumpled figure of the king, and a woman in a voluptuous gown. Lois, I guess is how you say it. It's hard to know. I'm going to say Lois. The princess, his daughter, the future queen of Iran. I gotta turn the page. The woman who won't care if I die in a ditch once I turn 20 and am no longer under Anton's protection. She's risen to take a step towards me. Despite myself, I stop short, my whole body tensing. Get out of here. Her voice grates. She takes another step forward. Finger by finger, I close my hands into fists and then release them. I've got to see him. You've come to gloat. You Caesarians have always wanted him dead. Not me. I barely restrain myself from saying, then you would be queen. I'm no more Caesarian than you are. Lois' lips curls. You can wash your hands all you want, but the stink of the gutter remains. Anyways, so this is a problem. She knows that she is going to get blamed for the death. Lois will make sure she gets blamed for the death, and Lois is engaged to a man who's not really that nice, and he's actually never liked Elena that much himself. Let's see. His name is Dennis, I guess. Denis. I hate playing names in fantasy books. Denis. Denis. I'll say Denis. Anyway, she said that she would never kill him, and everybody should know that. And he says, Dewey. Oh, no, that's Gurin, she says, would never kill him. Anyway, she says she'd never kill him either. And she says, I love the king dearly. I say, like a father. Denise isn't good, is it? Dennis raises an eyebrow. Dennis is no good. So that argument you had with him last week, that was a bit of paternal affection. My mouth goes dry. Of course, Dennis has twisted things. It wasn't an argument. It was just a normal father-daughter thing. So, and then he says, oh, and your real father, what does he think of this? I go cold. You know as well as I do that I haven't spoken to Rodan Valtai in 14 years. So you can see she's getting majorly put on the spot here. So she goes down to try to see Gurin, who's in jail. But of course they don't want